My first one is in Ezekiel.
Okay.
It's from Matt, and he asks, in Ezekiel's vision of God in chapter 1, is he seeing the Father or Jesus? And for us that don't know, what exactly is the vision? What story are we talking about here?
Well, Ezekiel has a number of visions, and the vision in Ezekiel chapter 1 is a vision of the Lord while Ezekiel is in captivity in the area of Babylon. And so there's a tornado coming towards him, and out of the tornado, it says a whirlwind in my translation, but it's a tornado. It's coming towards him, and out of the tornado comes this likeness of 4 living creatures, and each one of them are on the 4 sides of what is the throne of God. And so when you look at, let me see here. I haven't read this. What's his name again?
This is Matt.
Haven't read this, Matt. Let's see. I saw visions of God, the word of the Lord, hand of the Lord was upon me. And it gives the description of the angels, like this is stretched out. It's all the likeness of the angels. So when I saw it, and I heard a voice of one speaking, and he said to me, Son of man, for they're impudent. You know, I don't know. I'd have to go through, and I'm all the way in chapter 3, and I haven't seen that Ezekiel sees the Lord there. You know what? Let me do a quick search here in Ezekiel. This is where I need another guy with me so he can be talking while I'm doing this. You could be talking, Matt.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to say interesting things while I'm looking stuff up on my computer.
Interesting things. Well,
that's literal.
I didn't want to rabbit trail down this, but I have been watching. Have you been watching the Supreme Court nominee?
A little bit. I watched a little this morning, as much as I could take.
Yeah, it's crazy how she's pretty squared away, and she's adopted kids. She's Catholic. She's obviously conservative, but she's super smart. And they don't really have anything to pin her on. There's not dirt. There's not like this backstories. And they're coming out with these just dumb things to ask her. And then when she answers them, she even looks at them like, what are you talking about? And then they go, well, Trump is mean. And they go after Trump, and don't even ask her about judicial policy.
Yeah.
We can get into that later.
Okay, here it is. It is in chapter 1. It says, also from the appearance of his waist, let's see, verse 26, and above the firmament over their heads was the likeness of a throne, in appearance like a sapphire stone. On the likeness of the throne was a likeness with the appearance of a man high above it. Also from the appearance of his waist and upward I saw as it were the color of amber with the appearance of fire all around within it. And from the appearance of his waist and downward I saw as it were the appearance of fire with brightness all around, like the appearance of a rainbow and a cloud on a rainy day. So was the appearance of the brightness all around it. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. So when I saw it, I fell on my face, and I heard a voice of one speaking. And that's when the Lord begins speaking to him. Appearance of a man, this is one of those things where for example, there's a passage in the book of Daniel where the Father is pictured in the throne room of God, and then Jesus is pictured as a Son of Man coming before him. And so I know probably where you're going with this, Matt, in the sense that most of the appearances of God in the Old Testament, the New Testament tells us that it's an appearance of Jesus. And so that may be the case. What I am telling you is that that's not always the case. And so again, for example, in the book of Daniel, I believe it's in Daniel chapter 10, there's a specific situation where it looks like the Father is pictured as a man in that passage. And one of the things that you need to know about God in any instance is that he can appear as anything that he wants to, and you're still not seeing his fullness. And so when the Bible talks about the fact that no man has seen God at any time, I'm quoting from John chapter 1, verse 18. What it's talking about in that passage isn't that God hasn't revealed himself or manifested himself in some way or another. In that passage, what it's letting you know is nobody's seen God in his fullness. You see this again when you're in 1 John chapter 3 and verse 2. It says, we don't know what we're going to be like, but we do know that when he appears that we're going to be like him because we're going to see him as he is. And that's the idea of being able to see God in his fullness. And that's not going to be able to take place until our bodies are changed. You have the same situation with Moses in the Old Testament when he asked to see God in all his glory, and God goes, no, you can't. I'll hide you in this cleft of a rock and I'll cover you, and you can see the afterglow or the after parts of my glory. God is not able to be seen by any man in his fullness in that sense. And so if it is an appearance of the Father in this passage, then you're still not seeing God in his fullness. You're seeing something where God's localizing himself in some way so that Ezekiel can see it. And so it could be either one. It could be again an Old Testament appearance of Christ as far as a Christophany, or it could be an appearance of the Father, if you take into account what it says in the book of Daniel. So either or. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to give you anything definitive based on what's going on here in the passage. So.